Hello, everybody. I'm Brandon, and welcome to the podcast. We have a guest this week. It's
Captain Midnight.
Huzzah! We finally got you on after a while.
Yeah, it took a little wrangling, but we did it.
Yeah, it seems to be how it goes with all of our guests. Not anywhere near as long as the last guest I had, which we had been planning since April.
Oh man, you could plan a whole, war in that time or something.
Yeah, it's a long time, but thankfully this wasn't as long. This was a few weeks?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So, how's it going, man?
Going pretty good. Just playing some Red Dead, watching some Daredevil, some Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Daredevil is so good.
Yeah, I've really been liking this season.
Have you finished it so far?
No, I need to. I just had too much due in school this week, but I'm about 4 in. So
yeah. So you're at that scene that everybody's talking about.
I'm not sure. I don't think I'm there yet. So maybe don't spoil it.
I won't. It's super good though. I love it. It's
nice.
Great. Daredevil's one of my favorite shows in general just to watch because it's so good. All the people are so good.
Yeah, I was a little let down by season 2, but this season and season 1 are both really good.
I definitely stopped caring at halfway through season 2. It's oh, Punisher's gone. Okay, I don't really care anymore.
Yeah, and Elektra was kind of underwhelming. This version of Elektra.
Yeah, she was fine. I just didn't care about the whole hand stuff.
Yeah, all the Marvel Netflix shows have that kind of a lot of weird backstory that I feel like they find more interesting than the audience does.
Yeah, and it because that typically the last few episodes are such a letdown.
Yeah.
Luke Cage season 1 was really good up until they killed Cottonmouth, and I was oh, I really don't care now.
And then Luke Cage season 2 was just, that was really disappointing.
I haven't finished season 2 yet. I got a few episodes into it, and then I just stopped.
It's just boring, right? That second season's really boring.
Which is weird because all my friends are this is my favorite season of Netflix. Of
Marvel weird.
Netflix. I'm what?
Well, Netflix just canceled my favorite Netflix, not Marvel, but my favorite Netflix show today, American Vandal. I don't know if you've seen that.
I need to. That's on the shows that everybody recommends I watch. There's American Vandal, and then every day my English teacher's you got to watch Ozark. So I watched the first 3 episodes of that yesterday. It's really good.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I loved American Vandal, and I guess not enough people were recommending it because they just canceled it today. Netflix is just going cancel crazy today after, well, not today, but just in general after Luke Cage and Iron Fist.
Really pouring out of the Netflix world, isn't it?
Seriously,
out of the Marvel world. It's we took your Marvel characters and now we're taking everything else. Thanos snap.
Seriously, I was not expecting that. You think oh, they're Netflix, they have just tons of money, but I guess some stuff works for them and some stuff doesn't.
Yeah, I wish that they had more shows that weren't canceled.
Yeah,
they have a lot of good shows. I just pray that they never cancel Stranger Things because I love that show.
Yeah, I seriously doubt they'd ever cancel that. I'm sure
it's such a big show.
Yeah, season 1 was legitimately a phenomenon. I feel I have no idea what the numbers are because Netflix is always so secretive, but I'm sure it was huge.
Oh yeah, it had to be. Almost instantly, everybody I knew was talking about Stranger Things. There was merch and everything very fast.
Yeah, it was everywhere.
It makes sense. It's a great show. I watched through that entire show in a day and didn't realize I watched through it in a day. I'm wait, it's over already?
Yeah, I loved the first season. The second season, I kind of wish they had done a few things differently, but it was still the second season was a lot better than Luke Cage season 2 or something.
Oh yeah, the second season was great, but it wasn't as great.
Yeah,
in comparison. It was still really good, just not as good.
Yeah, I liked seeing Sean Astin from Lord of the Rings. Sam.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty great.
Yeah, that entire show is just great. There's supposed to be a 3rd season next year, right?
I think so. Yeah, I wonder how long they can do that because those kids are only going to be, they're only getting older. So
yeah, maybe they're going to do a Harry Potter thing where it's this is them up through their entire childhood. They're going to be doing this show.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. If I had to bet, I would think that they cap it out at like 4 seasons or so, because something tells me that that the Duffer Brothers, this is like their big hit, right? Like they'd never really done anything before this. So I'm guessing they'll want to go do other things.
Yeah, hopefully they branch out and do some other just amazing things like this, but not this.
Yeah.
Also, like, I feel like it's weird because I was like, after rewatching season 1, I was like, I don't really think I need much of a season 2. And then they did season 2. I'm like, okay, now I don't think I need much of a season 3. And then like, it's like they have a pretty good cap off at the end of every season, and then they keep bringing it back. And I'm like, do we really need this though? Like, I'm gonna watch it and fangirl everywhere, but do I really need it?
Sure.
But yeah, it's great.
Yeah, hopefully they can keep it up in season 3.
Yeah. I should probably address the title of this video real quick. This podcast used to be called the Infinity Podcast. I'm just changing it to the Cosmic Nerd Studios Podcast because I stopped doing podcasts for from January to recently. And when I came back, Patrick Willems was like, I'm doing a podcast called the Infinity Podcast. And I'm like, well, okay then.
Time for some rebranding.
Yep, time to rebrand because I'm way smaller than you, so I'm not going to argue with that. So you can have it. Goodbye, good sir. The worst part was I'd already drafted an email I was going to send to him asking him to be on the show.
Oh, dang.
And then that week he was like, and I'm doing a podcast. I'm like, well, time to scrap that email for now. But
well, a podcast name, it's just a name at the end of the day. It doesn't matter too much, I don't think.
Yeah. Are there any podcasts that you were really into?
Yeah, I really, really like You Must Remember This, which is a film history podcast hosted by Karina Longworth, who's a film historian, also randomly married to Rian Johnson, the director of Last Jedi. That's a very random connection, but yeah, her podcast is great.
Yeah, I don't really listen to a lot of podcasts, which is why I asked, because I need suggestions.
Oh yeah, I like Blank Check with Griffin and David, which started out as a podcast where they just talked about the Phantom Menace for an hour every single week, but eventually they moved on from that, and now it kind of talks about different Blank Check movies, like directors who had a big hit and then their next movie they got to do whatever they want. So yeah, Blank Check is a great podcast.
The Phantom Menace part sounds a lot like what Scott from NerdSync is doing, where he's doing a Scooby-Doo podcast every day this month.
I was on that actually.
Yeah. I've been trying to find a way to get on that.
Oh yeah.
But I sent one tweet, so he obviously didn't see it, or he hates me. He hates this person he knows nothing about.
I guess you got a whole year now to formulate a new plan to get on there for what'll he cover next? I guess Scooby-Doo 1.
Yeah. But yeah, have a wildly circuitous scheme that involves a Mission Impossible music playing as I plan it. There's gonna be fake identities and disguises and planes and stunts just to get on a podcast.
There you go.
Just gotta make it work. Go big or go home.
I guess one last podcast recommendation. There's this podcast called Screw It. We're just going to talk about Spider-Man, where they talk about every issue from the original Ditko Lee run on Spider-Man.
Whoa, that sounds awesome, actually.
Yeah, it's really good. And it's two brothers, so they've known each other forever, so they have a really easy back and forth. It's definitely good.
That sounds really great. We need more podcasts like that. Can we just get one dissecting all of the original Detective Comics books?
Yeah, I mean, there really should be, because especially those that really early stuff, I feel isn't talked about all that much, and definitely not in any detail or depth.
I think I saw I don't know if it was legit, but I saw a mock-up for a omnibus collection of the before Batman was a character Detective Comics books. So the original,
really?
The first 26 issues or so like that.
That'd be so interesting. Yeah, I want to read those.
The hell out of that.
Yeah, for sure.
because like that's fascinating to me. Is like the difference, like because I've always read like comic books while like superheroes were the big thing. So I've never read like what was it like when it was just like noir detective stuff.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you've ever read the very first Spider-Man issue, Amazing Fantasy 15.
I have not. I've seen like a ton of panels from it that I think I've seen the entire book so far, but I've never like sat down and directly read it.
What's weird about that issue when you actually sit down to read it is that the Spider-Man story is just one of 3 stories in there. Yeah. And the other 2 are very, very EC Comics light kind of material. Like there's one story in there about a guy who's hiding from the police in a museum, and he hides behind this mummy, and this mummy tells him like, oh, come hide in my coffin, and you know the police won't find you. This guy, not being too smart, is like, oh, okay, sure, and gets in this coffin, and the mummy like takes his place as a living soul in the modern day, and then he's like a slave in Egypt in the in the distant past, and it's just so weird that story is
that's
just
messed
like,
up.
I know, it's just right.
That's like a Vertigo book that I would read the hell out of.
Right? Yeah, it's just right there next to Spider-Man's origin. That, and then there's one where when she finds out her husband is a Martian or something, and it's like a big Cold War scare type thing. Yeah, it's just crazy when you actually read those old books. All of the
that's what Action Comics #1 was like as well. Like Superman was just like he's basically an afterthought in that book.
Yeah.
We need space to fill out this entire book. Throw in this super guy, I guess.
Yeah, and he looks good on the cover, so let's give him the cover. But he was just one of the stories in there.
And now you know that Superman S is one of the most recognizable icons in the world.
Yeah.
Just because that afterthought. So huzzah.
I love the old EC comics a lot too, like buying collections of those. I went on a huge binge of those like a couple of years ago. They're really addicting.
Yeah, I need to go back through and read some. I think I have I bought some issues like online, but I don't have I haven't had time just to read them.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I still have like a stack of comic books that I got like in May that I haven't actually read. Because I got like a bunch of comic books for my birthday, and I just haven't read them, and I feel bad because I'll look over, it's like, oh, Umbrella Academy Volume 1. I should probably read this because I feel bad, and then I go to sleep.
Oh, yeah. That's always one I've meant to read, too. I've never gotten to it.
Yeah, I hope the person who gave me the book isn't actually watching. I don't think she does. She was on a podcast. I don't think she actually gives a shit enough to actually watch these, so she will never know I never read the books she gave me.
There you go. It's the perfect crime.
Huzzah. Oh, that's what he meant. I just got a DM saying that from a friend saying he wants to do a new podcast. And I'm like, I'm live. He's like, I'm in chat. That's why I'm saying this.
Oh. There's a chat. I don't even know how any of this works. I've never done like anything live.
Yeah.
My channel is about as pre-planned as you can get. Like live stresses me out a little bit.
Oh yeah, definitely. I have only done live because it's easier, because I used to do all my stuff on a Google Chromebook, so I couldn't download Audacity to record audio directly to anything. So it's like, I might as well just live stream the entire thing to YouTube, so that way I don't actually have to do any work.
Sure.
And recently, for the shirt, I started working for my school's student-run radio station. So I do live stuff there every week.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Great. Yeah, it's really cool. I talk about comic books for an hour because nobody else wants to do that, apparently. Everyone's like, sports and music news. And I'm like, I want to talk about the fact that there's a new Spider-Man book coming out.
Sure.
I want to talk about that new Tom Taylor Spider-Man book coming out in January, which looks great.
I haven't kept up with that. I need to look into it.
Yeah, I think it's literally called Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man or something like that.
Okay.
I'm like, Spider-Man has so many titles.
Yeah,
that's the only reason why we have why it's known as the Spectacular Spider-Man and the Amazing Spider-Man. It's because it's let's do a new Spider-Man book and give him a new tagline. because we need a new title, because we can't have 8 different Spider-Man books all titled just Spider-Man.
Right.
Why he has so many different hyphens in his name.
Yeah, there's Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, just Spectacular Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, obviously. It never ends.
Yeah. It just never ends. There's going to be a lot more. Okay, I have a question.
Sure.
I was thinking about this recently while I was watching like a Comic Pop video. When we get to the year 2099, what do you think is gonna happen to like the comics 2099? Because like obviously they're not gonna be like, and Miguel O'Hara is the main Spider-Man because we're in the year 2099. But we have all these books saying that in the year 2099 he is Spider-Man, and these books are supposed to take place in our present day. It's like, what do you think that's gonna be like for future comic book fans?
Well, probably people in 2099 will have bigger problems to worry about than that, but if they don't, I'm sure they'll figure it out. Just like Terminator, like how the future in Terminator is the past now, and they just have to kind of quietly reboot it. I'm sure they can figure out a way around it.
They're just gonna use a seance to summon the spirit of Stan Lee to have him write their way out. Like,
there you go.
Pull out a Ouija board. Stan Lee, we need you to write this issue that explains why Miguel O'Hara is not in our current comic books.
And he'll be like, who? I didn't write that.
It's just Excelsior on the Ouija board like 8 times.
Excelsior. Yeah. I think it's kind of amazing that Peter David still has such like control over the 2099 stuff, because there's just not very many Marvel properties where it's kind of like one creator that's still with it for that long. On and off, but still.
Yeah, I can't really think of that many people who are like that.
Yeah, Brian Michael Bendis had Ultimate Spider-Man for so long until...
And Jessica Jones. He wrote pretty much everything Jessica Jones was involved with for a while.
Yeah. And then he obviously left for DC last year, so that kind of is all with different people.
What do you think of Bendis on Superman, if you've read any of it?
Yeah, I read the first 2. I wasn't like overly impressed with it, honestly. I don't hate it. I don't know. Bendis with Superman seems like a weird match for me, because Bendis is really good with like kind of the back and forth of just like average people. That's what I've always liked from him. And so when you put that in with like a mythic character, kind of like Superman, I don't know. I was a little bit underwhelmed. I didn't like hate it or anything, but I don't know. I've heard this newest issue is great, but I'm not caught up.
Yeah, I haven't read much Superman or his Action Comics, though I've heard Action Comics is way better than Superman. I just haven't gotten around to reading all of it.
Yeah,
I've read Tom King's Batman. Like, while we're on, what do you think of like every book DC is pushing out?
I'm a little bit behind on Batman. I have like 4 issues sitting here that I haven't read. But I've been happy with it lately. I know like the big marriage stunt didn't go over well with people. Yeah. I thought the fallout of that was really, really good. Like I liked, I think the last one I read was this issue with, where they kind of flash back to Dick Grayson's childhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that issue a lot. That kind of stuff is my catnip, like the stuff that really digs into like past characterizations and kind of makes them like vital today, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I really liked that stuff, but
I've been kind of mixed on Tom King's Batman. I don't necessarily like it, but I don't hate it as well.
Yeah.
Like I really liked I Am Gotham. I thought the concept behind like his I Am Suicide storyline was, the concept behind it was like miles better than the execution. Sure. I read it, I was like, this is stupid. And the only like issues I can point to and be like, I really like these issues were the double date issues with Superman and Batman going on a double date.
Oh yeah.
Where they went to the carnival. It was great. Those were like, this is great. I have faith in Tom King's Batman. And then I checked back in. I was like, not right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to top Scott Snyder's Batman, for Batman comics.
It's like Snyder's the face of Batman. At least for right now, he is. Who knows who will come next?
Yeah, it just seems like such a hard like take on the character to the top. Scott Snyder was just so consistent, you know, and you don't see that very often in.
And he did it for like 52 issues, and like he's what most people, because people got into comic books at the New 52, so he was the guy who wrote that entire arc of Batman.
Yeah, like I read a lot of really old Batman comics, but I wasn't keeping up with like the 2000 stuff or the 90s stuff. Like it wasn't until New 52 that I got into like reading Batman regularly. So
yeah, I think like I was like into like really old stuff because my dad used to live over a library.
Oh yeah,
they had like this big like black and white omnibus of like the original Brave and the Bold.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I also libraries were really important for me with comics because I'm from a small town in Montana that didn't have a comic shop, and so the library though was great, and it had a whole bunch of DC and Marvel and indie stuff that I just like devoured in middle school and high school.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's when you don't have like a comic book store, you don't have the newest stuff available to you, especially back then before I didn't have a tablet or anything like that. So I was just reading older stuff, which I think is why my channel is so slanted towards talking about older creators, because that's just more my frame of reference.
Yeah, and also like visually, it is like not like the quality is bad. Like visually, like a lot of it's old. Like you do like the old like cartoons like commercials to cut between segments in your videos and stuff.
Oh yeah,
and you start off with that old timey Captain Midnight.
Yeah,
great. I still hold you to do like an April Fool's Day video where just that's the entire video. It's just the Captain Midnight over and over again.
Yeah, what that intro actually is I took the Captain Midnight 50s TV show intro and then the intro to the Captain Midnight radio series from the 40s, and I kind of put them together. So the announcers from the radio, the visuals are from the TV show, and I just liked the way they blended together. And yeah, I loved the way he said Captain Midnight. So
it's really good.
Yeah, I had a really fun that was like the first thing I made for the channel. I like just spent like 4 hours putting that together. That was a really good time.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I didn't realize Captain Midnight was a actual character that existed until I found your channel. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, and now he's everywhere. Now he's in what was that Jack Black movie that I saw? The House with the Clock in the Walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, Captain Midnight plays a huge role in that, like the pre-existing character. The main character is like a fan of Captain Midnight film serials or something. So I was like,
how did you find the character Captain Midnight? Because I didn't know he existed.
Yeah, I used to have this job at a TV station where I would basically just make sure things went to commercials on time, and I worked like the graveyard shift, right? And so what I would do is on YouTube, I got kind of tired of podcasts, so I would pull up like old radio dramas, just listen to, and I listened to some old Batman, I listened to some Orson Welles stuff, and I stumbled across this one Captain Midnight, which I thought was really funny because it was like the worst one, honestly, and that always just stuck with me, was how corny that radio show was. And then so when I needed a channel name, and I like looked up characters in the public domain, just because I wanted to kind of get across this like kind of old school pulpy vibe. And I saw Captain Midnight was in the public domain, and I was like, oh, nice. I remember that really funny radio show. So yeah, that's why I use that.
Yeah, it's time to we need to get Captain Midnight in the mainstream again.
There we go. Yeah.
Give him like a dark, gritty reboot.
I think because he's in the public domain, Dark Horse has actually done that. They've like published, there was like a Captain Midnight comic in 2012.
I was about to say, because if not, I will write that script and I will send it to somebody to get it drawn.
Yeah,
I will put my own personal project on hold for Captain Midnight.
it's funny because when you Google it, there's still like tons of nostalgia from like baby boomers for this character
Mhm.
because he was everywhere. He was in Ovaltine commercials. He was actually owned by Ovaltine. They were the ones who let the rights to him lapse. He had a TV show, a radio show, comic books. Like he was everywhere.
Yeah. I need to get into that character, and then we're going to do a dark, gritty reboot, and you're going to help write it.
Oh, great. Nice.
It'll be amazing. We will bring back the Captain Midnight mantra or
Yeah,
mantle.
I don't know how you do a dark, gritty Captain Midnight. I mean, I guess he literally he's a pilot who like bombs stuff. That's pretty dark already.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
He goes insane, starts bombing his average cities.
There we go. Captain Midnight anti-hero.
Or he's like a US government stooge who just like bombs ISIS, and that's his entire storyline. He's just
that'd be bleak. That'd be depressing.
He's our new Captain America. He's gonna be our new propaganda.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if he could do it with the smile on his face, but that just sounds too gritty for the captain.
Mopey says, did somebody say based on an obscure character? Troy says crossover him with Shazam because he was a Fawcett character.
Yeah, there we go. There actually was Shazam. There's a cover that's actually one of the only thing that's not in the public domain that is the cover with Shazam and who was Captain Marvel at the time and Captain Midnight together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird going over that history. There was also a guy who hijacked HBO's Signal in the 80s and like protested against them charging so much money for HBO, and he called himself Captain Midnight and he like went to prison for it and stuff. So yeah, that was pretty funny.
You win the captain proud by hijacking HBO.
Yeah.
Huzzah. Apparently Joshua Williamson wrote the 2012 Captain Midnight series.
Oh, nice.
I will now have to read that. I feel obligated to.
It's funny. I've had the channel for a while now, and I've never read it. I've read like one issue of the old Captain Midnight comic and was like, oh, this is bad. And that's about it.
You gotta read all of them now. You should do a series where you just break down every issue of Captain Midnight.
That I don't think anyone on Earth would watch that, but maybe.
I mean, I feel your fan base is loyal enough.
Yeah, let's hope.
Just do like a podcast. That's how you do live streams. Just live stream you talking about each issue. Like every episode's an issue.
Yeah,
like everything that Captain Midnight has ever been in.
Just like, here's more World War II propaganda. Not comfortable with how the Japanese were drawn here, but moving on. Yeah, every one would be like that.
Moving on from the slightly racist and offensive stuff here.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's Captain Midnight punching another stereotype.
Yeah, that's what a lot of those issues are.
Yeah, that's also what a lot of old school Captain America is, from what I can understand.
Yeah, but at least that had one, he was mostly fighting the Germans, so it wasn't as over the top in its drawings. And two, it had Jack Kirby art, which automatically makes it way better than old Captain Midnight comics.
Yeah. Mopey says you have to recall it like it's a memoir.
Oh yeah, I remember when I did this, when I flew over the Pacific Theater. Very stressful day.
Do it. You are Captain Midnight now. You have adopted that mantle. You have to become him.
Take up the name. I'm the Bucky to the original Captain Midnight, I guess.
Yeah. You're another child that's been thrown into war. Apparently, somebody posted a link to the HBO hijack, but it's not showing up for me.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, let me go check. Let me mute YouTube real quick so I don't I have that thing where I hear my own voice because I hate my voice.
I feel like everyone hates their voice. I don't think it's too big of a deal.
Yeah. There's supposed to be like a reason for that, like the way, like because it actually does sound differently to you than to everybody else.
Yeah, there's got to be like some science behind it, but I make video essays about movies. I don't know anything about science, that's for sure.
Sounds like this is a job for Scott Nicewander to discuss.
Yeah, there we go.
The science of sound. I've tried doing those types of videos before. I'm too lazy to keep doing research.
Yeah, I was never a good science kid in school. I was always like English and history. Those were my two subjects.
See, I really like science and I really do like history. It's just I'm not the best when it comes to discussing them.
Sure.
Like, I think like because Scott Nicewander is the reason why this channel is the way it is. NerdSync is my favorite YouTube channel, so I was like, I'm gonna do that kind of stuff. And then I did like a few videos, and I was like, I'm too lazy to just do this research every week.
Yeah.
Like I did a video on why Daredevil's not a good lie detector, using like the fact that your heartbeat doesn't actually change when you lie.
Yeah.
Like that's not like an inherent thing, and I've wanted to remaster that just because my friend Nia, who I mentioned earlier, she came over and she was like, "Yeah, no, it does." I'm like, "Oh, I'm petty enough to make an entire video about why this conversation no one else will hear is false." I will do that, and I never did. I was like, I'm too lazy for this.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of the Marvel superpowers, like when you try to break them down with science or something,
It's weird.
It's always gonna be really goofy because Stan Lee was just like sitting there in a chair one day and is like, and he got hit by gamma rays. They're like, what's a gamma ray? It sounds great, gamma rays.
You know what's funny? Apparently, spider sense is one of the few powers that is like slightly realistic.
Oh, really?
Because Kyle Hill from Because Science did a video about how you could get spider sense by using like what actual spiders have, and they're so sensitive they can literally feel the air around them move.
Interesting.
So like that's a thing that they could have.
Man, Stanley, PhD in all the sciences.
Oh yeah, totally intentional.
Yeah.
Him and his totally intentional, scientifically accurate character about spiders. Mopey's response to me saying I hate my voice is I've been waiting for Brando's voice to break since 2014.
My voice
never happen.
My voice breaks, I think, all the time, but you just never see it in the videos because I'm never live, right? So
you edit them out.
Yeah, exactly. I do like every line like 3 times. I'm like, but what would Jack Kirby say about that? But what would Jack Kirby say about that?
See, I'd get too lazy for that with the edits because then it's like I'd just try to do it. I would just keep restarting the recording because I don't want to have to edit out.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's a huge pain, but like that Vox video that I did, that Vox response video, that was 16 minutes long, which was my longest video, and I was sitting at the computer editing that thing for about 16 hours straight because I had to meet that Thursday deadline. After I had wrote it in about 5 hours. So yeah, that was a rough day. Like it definitely is a lot of work, especially when you're trying to make something that's like I was trying to get that out quickly when Vox's video was still relevant and when people were talking about it. So yeah, it definitely YouTube is definitely not as easy as it can look. That's for sure.
You have to sit there and edit videos for like way longer.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I was one of those guys that just like played video games and yelled. But even them, I underestimated how much work they have to do because like Twitch streaming now is so time consuming.
I think it's like Jacksepticeye, who is like basically a Let's Player. He like did like 12-hour days.
Yeah.
Like pretty much every day that he would upload a video. I'm like, that's a lot more work than I was expecting from just this guy who uploads 2 10-minute videos of him yelling at a video game every day.
I know. Yeah.
And then, like, now he has like a comedy show that he does. He goes on tour. I have the poster up above my laptop.
Yeah, he's like a brand now. He's a
Yeah.
name.
It's like even the people who do like the simplest in quotes YouTube videos still have to put in like a shit ton of work to make it all like work out.
Yeah, especially if you're gonna do it consistently.
Yeah, it's not all video games and comic books, everybody.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Don't suggest Brando do actual work. Brando can't do things. Correct. Let me be lazy.
Don't be mean to. Don't be mean. You know, I'm encouraging you. I'm here to encourage you. The chat, they're just bringing you down. I'm turning it against the chat. I'm sorry, folks, but we need to encourage him to make some. You should make that Daredevil video. You should do it. Go for it.
Huzzah! Time to remaster that video.
There you go.
Time to do it. I still have like. I was gonna do like. I bought 10 Cent Plague to do a video about what the hell the CCC or the CCA was, the comics.
Oh yeah, I love 10 Cent Plague. It's such a good
book. Haven't finished it yet because I am, as I found out, much more terrible at reading like actual books. Like I can read the Harry Potter books all week long, but I started reading Superman and Philosophy in like January and I haven't finished it yet.
Oh yeah.
And I got 10 Cent Plague in May, and I got like 3 chapters into it, and I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, there's definitely like, there's some books that I just stop like dead in my tracks reading. But yeah, I feel like it's just one of those things. If you start reading those kind of books more, it'll just, be easier.
I love them, and they're like fascinating books. It's just like school is a thing that exists.
Yeah, for sure.
And also they're way more dense than I was anticipating.
Yeah, I'm like almost done with college and I'm reading all of these just super long academic papers every week. So it's just, coming home to like talk about comic books is definitely nice.
Yeah, you don't got to do all that for your hobby as well.
Yeah.
Yay. I do not envy Scott from Nerd Sync or like Owen at all because of like they have to do like actual research for their videos.
Yeah.
Like look at like studies and stuff like that. It's like I don't gotta do that. I just gotta read this book and give my thoughts or hop in a call with this person. Thoughts. There's not like 8 hours worth of just sifting through like articles online for like scientific studies being like but if I applied this to this superhero, could it work?
Yeah, I'll do some historical research just to make sure that everything I'm saying is kosher, and sometimes I even screw up on that, but in general most of my videos are just opinion based, so I don't have to sift through any scientific studies. I
think like the last video I did was inspired by Superman and Philosophy because it was the last actual scripted video I did was does Superman really stand for the American way?
Oh yeah, sure.
This was an entire chapter in Superman and Philosophy where it's what even is the American way? And I was like, oh, this is fascinating. Let me basically just do a thing where I talk about this chapter for 10 minutes.
Yeah, those books can be really good jumping off points.
Oh yeah, they're great.
I have the Batman one and the Spider-Man one, but I don't have the Superman one.
I have the Superman one and nothing else yet.
Oh yeah.
Watch and like all the others that he's done because I love Mark D. White as a person. He is great and deserves all of the hugs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So yeah, recently casts. And by recently I mean like there was one last week. No, 2 weeks ago, and then there was one like 7 months ago. Because
you're cutting out here.
Oh, am I? Oh, I said there was like one 2 weeks ago, and then there was one 7 months ago.
Oh, okay.
Because I was, I originally did have a co-host for this podcast, but he got very, very unreliable for showing up. So yeah, I kind of dropped him.
The curse of every podcast.
Yeah, and he's shown up several times. He's like, "Hey, we need to do a podcast," and I'm like, "I will if you schedule it." Like, I don't. It's like I can schedule these on my own. It's just if you're wanting to be on this, you need to show more initiative than saying you'll show up and then not showing up without a text or a call as warning.
Sure.
Like, from what I remember, his girlfriend was better at remembering when recordings were than he was.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I kind of dropped him. I moved to just doing like guests and getting my YouTube friends on, which is kind of hard when everybody has different schedules.
Yeah, definitely. It's I feel like everyone is always working on their own things. Like I'm I know you're a big Nerd Sync fan, so this will be I'll give you kind of a scoop. That I'm a like providing a voice in one of his upcoming videos. I'm going to be voicing like a couple people, and just putting that together, which is just like a couple lines, was more difficult than you'd expect because everyone's schedules are just so crazy.
That's like, I don't know how it is that he's doing like the month of monsters where for like every day he's doing like a new guest.
Yeah.
Because like I can't manage to get like two different people available over like once a week for 2 weeks.
Well, he had similar issues because he he had to quit doing it for a couple days and do a solo one.
Yeah.
Because the guests, I think, just it didn't like line up or something. But yeah, he's been around, established on YouTube for a long time, so I feel like he can call in some favors when he needs to.
Yeah, he does. It's just I'm like, how? It's like I've spent months trying this. It's a pain.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like the scheduling part. It's like not like the problem isn't getting a hold of people. It's getting time.
Yeah,
because everybody's like different schedules.
Yeah, and for Scott's podcast, I had to watch a whole Scooby-Doo movie too, which was even more time. But that was a pretty good time. I definitely
think of the Scooby-Doo movie. I kind of dropped off of that podcast for a bit.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm definitely, you can hear all my thoughts about it in there. But basically, I thought it was better than the first one. That's for sure.
Brando's had so many guests. I can't wait for the 100th episode where he gets all of them back. I'm gonna get everybody in one podcast.
There you go. It'll just be anarchy.
8 people. There'd be how many people would there be? There'd be Owen, Stu Dippin, Chris Sanders, Jay from Fancy Teeth, and that's about it.
Okay.
Oh, and Jonathan from Make Stuff.
Yeah, that seems like it would be a few too many people for a podcast, but you could really make it work if you tried.
Yeah. It'd be a nightmare.
Yeah.
I've always thought I would just do like a 24-hour long episode where I just do like a 24-hour long stream and label it as the podcast.
Oh my God. That sounds...
Have people hop in and out.
That sounds impossible to me. I could never do that.
Yeah, it'd be impossible. It's like I'd love to do it though at some point, just to try to do it, like at least a 12-hour live stream. Like that's one thing I would definitely take from like what the Let's Players do is do like charity streams every month for like 12 hours. Because that's fun.
Yeah, I just like I don't know how you could be like live in front of other people for that long. Like, it's just not I guess not how I like do anything. That just sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Like I've never done Twitch. I've never live streamed a video game. This is the first live thing I think I've ever done, honestly.
Oh yeah, and that one guy from Indie PopCon. Yeah, I did an episode of Indie PopCon, which was super fun. For the guests that are coming back, my friends are listing all the people.
Oh, nice.
There's a lot more people. I
can't see the chat. I wish I could.
I never actually tweeted out this podcast.
Oh, okay.
Let me go send the tweets. Like halfway through the episode, because I clearly thought this thing through. Podcast with at Captain Midnight. There we go. Everybody has so many like just horror-based names now, and I can't do much with my name.
Oh yeah.
It's like it's Captain
That-
Howling at the Midnight Moon.
yeah, it's a little bit labored, but I think it works. You
Yeah,
know.
it works. It's just I wish I could do something that isn't just add a spooky emoji to my name. I'll tweet out for you, and by tweet I mean put it on the Discord. Thank you, Mopey. Share it with everybody, all of the humans. We must get everybody to see this podcast. Everybody on the planet. We're gonna. That's my new goal, is to get like my podcast on like one of the big TV billboards in New York. That's the new goal in life.
There you go. You just need to set aside a couple $1,000 and you're good to go.
Hell yeah. It should be super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Hopefully, it'll happen someday. That's my new goal. All my money is going to go towards that. Screw the idea of moving out of this house. I'm going to do that. I don't even live in. Yeah, I sent you the link, or I tweeted out and tagged you, so you should have the link.
Yeah, I got it. It's weird because I'm seeing you on the actual call, and then I'm also seeing you on the YouTube thing.
I feel like the quality is much lower because my Wi-Fi is also being taken up by my cousin and his friend playing video games in the next room.
Oh, well, I guess that's how it goes.
That's how the cookie crumbles. But also, this is a podcast, so we don't even really need the webcam.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you're definitely not missing much from me in my profile picture.
Yeah, it's just a picture of whatever the heck that coin is, I think, and the Captain Midnight photo over it.
Yeah, it's actually the Captain Midnight decoder ring that they would send to kids who join the fan club.
Please tell me you actually have a decoder ring.
I have been trying to get one, and I haven't got one yet. So if anyone has any leads on one, like there was a couple of them on eBay, and then they were like $300, and I was like, nah. But if I could find a cheap one, I would definitely get it.
Who's like, I'm gonna take this decoder ring to this character nobody knows about and sell it for $300. I guess it is a niche market and people will pay whatever they can for Captain Midnight merch, I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of
it. There. It's like not everybody knows who this character is, so there's not gonna be a lot of it.
Yeah. My friend who actually works in a museum sent me a picture of a Captain Midnight mug from the 50s.
Wow.
Which that was pretty cool.
The ring and goggles from Captain Midnight are in the movie A House with a Clock in Its Walls.
Yeah, that was that Jack Black movie I was talking about. It's just crazy that they use the characters so much in that movie. Like the decoder thing is like a key plot point. It's bizarre.
I still need to see that movie. It's one that I saw like some trailers for, and then that was it.
Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. But it's definitely not anything that you have to get on right away. I only saw it because people kept tweeting at me, you have to see this movie because Captain Midnight is in it.
See, your fan base is pushing you, and it worked out for the better. You should always listen to your fan base.
My biggest fan, Jack Black, who put me in a movie, except definitely not.
Hell yeah. I was going to say you got to listen to your fans no matter what they request. Even if they request you do adult films for a living.
Yeah. I'd have to think on that one. It would have to pay really well.
I feel if enough people suggested it, I would do it.
Wow. Well, you have much more dedication to your audience than I do, apparently.
If enough people suggested it. That being said, I don't think I will ever get enough people following me for me to be like, yeah, sure, I'll go film a porno.
Well, that's the dream, is to have enough people following you and constantly harassing you to do a porno that you do it. That's really what we all want in life.
Well, I mean,
not too many of us are there.
To tie back to Let's Players, that tangent from before, Markiplier released a nude calendar at 20 million subscribers.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, just gotta get 20 million subscribers, and that will happen.
That's interesting.
The road to 20 million starts now. Let's go.
I had no idea about that. I don't think I really know anything about Markiplier. I'm like an old man or something. I'm only 25, but there's so many YouTubers I've just never watched anything from. Like I just watched like old Japanese samurai movies and I don't know. I feel very disconnected from a lot of the big YouTube community.
I don't watch a lot of like Markiplier or Jacksepticeye. I largely watch it because I thought they were funny people. And recently I'm just like, I don't have time to watch, 20 minutes of a game I probably don't care about.
Yeah.
Like if it's a game that I'm like, oh, this is an interesting game and people I like are playing it. Let's see what they think. Sure, but like right now, most of the content I consume is all like the comic book YouTube space. It's like Nerd Sync and Comic Pop and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They are most of who I watch.
I used to watch a ton of that stuff. Like I love Nerd Sync and I still watch his videos. But in general, I try to kind of steer clear of a lot of it now until the topics I've like thoroughly covered them, because I'm afraid of being like accidentally influenced by their opinions.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that I'm not accidentally like ripping anyone off, stuff like that.
I know that's why Scott says he doesn't watch a lot of the comic book YouTube people.
Yeah, yes.
He doesn't want to be influenced by their content.
Yeah, Scott definitely has a similar policy with that stuff.
I'm like, yeah, but I also really enjoy their videos, so
yeah.
I don't think my opinion's being corrupted by Comic Pop.
Probably not. Yeah, I'm just always afraid of like leaning in too much to like something I heard somewhere else. I want to make sure that I'm like bringing something original to the table.
Brando, you'd make a great 70s pizza boy.
Yeah, there's the beginning of your porn career right there.
That's followed up by nobody wants to see Brando naked, not even his real doll.
Aw.
Thanks. How did you know I have that? That's the real question, good sir. I don't know. Sounds pretty corrupting. I'm joking. I'm going to screenshot that and email it to him, Mopey. The Mickey Mouse toy in the back is corrupting his life real hard.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I didn't notice that. There is a Mickey Mouse toy back there.
Yeah, I think I got this from my grandma like when I was like 5, but I don't know. I don't know where it came from. I've just always had this. So it's
now it looks really creepy when you do that.
He's just shaking.
Oh my god. It's like Annabelle 3 right here.
He's just disapproving every action happening. Right now he's like, no thanks. He never like, he's supposed to shake his head yes, but it's always a no.
Yeah, he's a very negative mouse.
Yeah, come on, Mickey. You're supposed to represent the children of the world. There's also this Justice League New Frontier Batman, because I really love the original Batman design from this. Super cool.
Nice.
I don't even remember where I got that from, if I'm being entirely honest. It's just I have stuff up here. I don't think you can see it. There's a Pringles can I've had for like 5 years.
A Pringles can? Nice.
So when I started YouTube, this was on my shelf, and so I've just kept it.
Sure.
Nobody's questioned it. So I'm like, I'm going to keep this Pringles can in my room until somebody questions it. And people are just like, I assume he really likes food.
You just really like that one brand of Pringles so much.
I mean, it is my favorite Pringles flavor is cheddar cheese.
There you go. You're just representing.
Yeah, gotta represent the cheddar cheese fan. How long have we been going?
I have no idea.
30 minutes.
30 minutes
on my phone. According to my phone, the Minecraft torch to light up your life. Yes, that's exactly what it's there for. It's the only light in my life. Everything else is depressing and dark.
You probably played Minecraft as like a little kid, which makes me feel really old.
Did I? No, 1 minute.
Yeah, like how old were you when Minecraft came out?
I came out.
Or when it first became really popular.
I don't know. That was like what, within the past 5 years, right?
I think it was 2012
Or what, 2018?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, roughly the past 5 years. Oh yeah, probably like 12 or something.
Yeah.
I'm only 17 now. I don't know when Minecraft came out, if I'm being entirely honest. I didn't have like a solid Wi-Fi connection until I was like 11, so I was like just confused about all of the internet. So I didn't know YouTube was a thing for a while.
Yeah, see, I remember the first YouTuber I ever watched was the Angry Video Game Nerd.
Who was the first that I watched?
That was in like 2006, 2007, something like that. And I was, let's see, I would have been like 13, 14 then.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That was like 10 years ago, man.
Yep. Yeah, it was.
You're old.
Yep. 25.
Yep, I feel that officially does make you old.
I guess so, yeah.
The instant you leave school, you're old.
Yeah, I mean, I've just been in college since like 2012 now. I'm just going to be in college forever, I guess.
Until the day you dorm room.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Wearing your Captain Midnight decoder ring. You can't die a happy man until you have that.
I know, I need to get one.
You skip ahead like 10, 20 years, it's like, this Captain Midnight decoder ring is more important than my wedding ring.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure that'll go over well.
No, I should use the Captain Midnight decoder ring as
yes,
you know, how I propose to someone in the future.
That's the engagement ring.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes, there you go. See, we're helping inform your future life on this podcast.
Yeah,
recommend it to everyone, and everybody will be married by the end of this show.
Everyone, do their engagements with Captain Midnight decoder rings.
Yes,
let's start that phenomenon here and now.
Now, question is, if somebody does it, will you show up at the wedding?
Not only will I show up at the wedding, I will then make a video based on their video topic suggestion.
Oh, they're gonna say like you were going to officiate the wedding in a Captain Midnight costume.
I don't think anyone wants just a guy dressed up as a World War II like fighter pilot at their wedding.
Oh no, I would. There's the guy from Stranger Things who's playing Hellboy said that he would officiate a wedding dressed as Hellboy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was one of those retweet things where it's how many retweets do I need? And it's like 666,000 retweets.
Nice. Yeah, I think I'm a little less famous than Hellboy, and by a little I mean so much less famous than Hellboy. So, but if there's anyone out there,
if somebody's willing to do that, they have dedication though. Send us that video of you proposing with a Captain Midnight decoder ring.
Yeah, and the person you're proposing to will just be like, "What? What is this? What are you talking about?"
Hell yeah. I'm like, oh, that'd be hilarious, especially if like the girl or boy you're proposing to doesn't know who Captain Midnight is.
Yeah, it would go over so well, I'm sure.
I feel the need to do that now. Give it 10 years, and in your inbox, I will send you a video of me proposing with a Captain Midnight ring. It'll be stellar.
Here we go. Yeah, I just retweeted your tweet. I totally forgot to do that, so my bad.
Show your support, Captain.
But yeah, so it's out there. It's out there now.
Yeah,
minutes in or whatever.
Huzzah! We're out here.
Yeah.
We're doing all of the things. We're gonna get famous. We're gonna get rich.
Yeah, it starts here for sure.
It starts right here on this podcast with like 6 viewers. Where all great stories start. We should just do like a Team 10 situation with all the comic book YouTubers, and we all live in like one big house.
Yeah, a Team 10 with just comic YouTubers, I think would be like what's the word that they always say? Savage. That would be the least savage Team 10 house ever.
We'll get
All the vloggers hate us.
We'll fly Owen down from the UK.
There we go.
He'll come live with us. We can probably convince Scott. Does Matt Draper live in the US or Draper? I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
I think it's Draper, and I have no idea.
No, he lives in LA, I think.
Yeah,
I feel bad because I've been following him for a while, and we occasionally DM on Twitter, and I don't know how to pronounce his last name, and now I feel bad.
And then, like High Top, they're good. Even though we disagreed about Spider-Man: Homecoming, they're pretty good.
Oh yeah, I saw he did a video about how Homecoming isn't a good Spider-Man movie. I didn't actually watch the video. It just keeps popping up in my recommendations.
Yeah, I watched it because, at this point, it's like I've said so much stuff about Spider-Man: Homecoming that I feel like it's okay for me to take in some new information from outside sources on that one.
Yeah, I just don't want to be like, I just don't have like that realization where it's like, oh no, this is a bad Spider-Man movie. Because I really liked Homecoming so far.
Yeah, if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. I don't know. It's like a well thought out critical opinion is good, and it's one thing, but also it's like it can't stop you from enjoying the movie, even if you think they made some good points.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've talked about Spider-Man: Homecoming so much, like in my life, I feel like at this point, because after that, my first big video was that Spider-Man: Homecoming one. Well, maybe it was the Witcher one, but really my first huge one. Like I got on the trending page for like 2 hours with that Spider-Man.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, in the middle of the night, but still, it was like really crazy.
It's nothing. Nighttime in the actually wait no, because isn't the trending page like different for every country?
Yeah, I just know that a friend of mine from Montana sent me a screenshot of my video, like near the bottom of the trending page, but on the trending page, and for those 2 hours, the views were just like crazy.
Well, that's better than nothing, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Franco uploaded a video. Thanks for reminding me of that, phone.
But yeah, after that video, I made like 3 more Spider-Man: Homecoming videos in a row, and I was just like, okay, I think I've covered everything I could say about this movie now.
Just get everybody. No, wait, no. I'm thinking about chat said you should just only do Homecoming videos. No, only Spider-Man.
Oh man, people already say I do too many Spider-Man videos. I just like Spider-Man
so videos and Captain Midnight issue breakdowns.
Yeah, and then see my views drop like by half or something.
Or
people like the Spider-Man videos. I think they do pretty well, but I lean on Spider-Man too much just because I really love Spider-Man.
And he also is a popular character. People like that character as well.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not like he's a niche character or anything.
Yeah, I mean, he's debatably Marvel's most popular character ever.
Will this episode go longer than Jonathan's? No. The last episode of this podcast is like 2.5 hours long.
Oh, geez.
It's like, we're not going that long.
Yeah, I definitely can't do that. I'm here's a inside scoop on my production, I guess. I'm putting together, I got a new computer today. I'm getting rid of this old one. And yeah, I'm going to be transferring all my stuff onto a external hard drive and then shutting all this stuff down and putting up my new computer. Finally, this computer is from like 2009.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was actually a hand-me-down from my friend who does anyone in the chat know who the channel Shoddycast?
Yes, Austin Horrigan, I think.
Yeah, okay, so Austin Horrigan wasn't actually the original founder of it, right?
Okay.
It was my buddy Josh and his brother Kyle. And I'm really good friends with Josh from high school. And when he got a new computer, he gave me this one. So really, the Shoddycast and my channel were created on the exact same computer.
Now, question is, where's that crossover? Where's that collaboration at, man?
Well, I think we have pretty different audiences at this point, but I will say that the show Hidden History on that Austin actually did the narration for about like the first 4 or 5 months of it. If you look up Hidden History Shoddycast, I wrote every episode of that show. Almost every episode. I think there was 2 I didn't write, but yeah, that was like the first thing I did on YouTube. And that was a bunch of research every week, and yeah.
I'm only familiar with Austin from Shoddycast.
Oh yeah. Well,
I mainly watched The Science, and then that moved over to Game Theory, and I was like, oh, well, I don't really care as much about just the science in general.
Yeah. Well, now he's back with my friend moved on from Shoddycast, and now Austin is running it. So
yeah, that's what I've heard. I've seen like more activity there, and I saw Austin tweeting out videos from Shoddycast.
Yeah, I actually really like their old storyteller machinima stuff.
Yeah.
I think so much effort went into that. Like, I was always really impressed with my friend Josh for being like kind of directing those and putting those together, because that was just a crazy ambitious project that YouTube doesn't really reward in the algorithm putting that much effort.
Yeah, which sucks, because that kind of stuff is like really cool and really creative.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's a bummer.
And then YouTube's algorithm is like, no creativity, do the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Gotta do the same thing over and over again until you burn out and die. Which is dark. I think on previous episode we compared YouTube to like an abusive husband or an abusive boyfriend.
Oh, that's dark.
Yeah, it's like, you don't know it like I do. It's only this way when it gets drunk.
Yeah, YouTube is frustrating because they're always like, oh, this is a place for you to express yourself, and this is a place where you can create whatever you want, but they're also constantly putting more and more limits on the type of content that they want. So it's, I feel like that's a bit of it's a bit hypocritical.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's weird.
Like, it's really easy to get demonetized for swearing now, and it's like, now YouTube has more restrictions than network TV. Like, come on, this is the exact opposite of what this was supposed to be.
Yeah, that's the thing I wasn't expecting, because a lot of their big players like swear a lot.
Oh yeah, but I guess the advertisers just weren't happy with that, and the advertisers are almost always going to come before any user, even if they're a massive one, even if they're like a huge YouTuber.
I guess, but also then it's like there are brands that will like reach out to these creators directly and are like, here, advertise us and we'll give you money. So it's like, obviously there are people who are interested in that, whether this person's dropping an F-bomb every 2 words. So it just strikes me like, oh, that's bullshit. You can get ads much. Like you can get people interested even with, bad words.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I think the thing is there's just so much on YouTube, and we've seen in the past like advertisements play over some like pretty like awful stuff. And I think advertisers are just very, very afraid of that, and they have every right to be, honestly, but I think YouTube, it's their job to come up with a better solution for that than just, okay, guys, no swears, like.
Yeah, they need to be better at compromising than just folding in.
Yeah, like I wish I could submit my own ratings to YouTube. Like, is this a R-rated video? Is this a PG-13 rated video? Obviously not those exact ratings, but something like that. And if it's seen that you're like lying all the time and it's like a R-rated video, but you're marking it as G, then you get demonetized. But before that, like, I I wish I could just tell YouTube the content of my video, because I feel like most people would be honest about that.
Yeah, a rating system would definitely work.
Yeah, even if it was just like an internal one, like telling YouTube when you post, like, yeah, this is going to be an R-rated one, this one's going to be a G-rated one,
And they kind of have that with the restricted, so people under 18 can't watch certain videos, but like that's not the same because you can just get around that.
Yeah, and also nobody marks that. There should be something like right in the main info page,
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't have to dig for it. It should be like right next to the title and where you pick the thumbnail and stuff.
Oh yeah, completely. I just wish YouTube needs to just listen to creators more. Like I know that they kind of did when there was that whole thing like back like 2 years or so ago where people were doing videos about problems with YouTube.
Yeah.
And they kind of listened then, and then like now they're just back on the same thing without random ass algorithm changes for no reason.
Yeah, they love their algorithm changes, and they love to vaguely explain why they made them.
Oh yeah, vaguely. Come on, like I feel with every single time they change the algorithm, they should have like a pretty lengthy blog post about why it's changed, what's changed, who's affected, and stuff like that. Because like, yeah, sure, the people who work at YouTube, their jobs aren't really going to go anywhere, but the people who get money from making content for YouTube, their jobs are affected by this.
Yeah.
It's like some people can't feed their families if the video that they upload this week doesn't do well or something like that. So,
that's why I'm depending more on sponsorships these days, is just because the YouTube ad revenue is so unreliable. You never know what's going to happen to it. Sponsorships, you just cut out the middleman, and you don't have to worry about YouTube flipping a switch and making all of your money go away,
Yeah, it's just, I find communication is YouTube's biggest problem with us right now.
Like, yeah, I think they're trying to get better. Like they're constantly sending emails that are really long explanations these days, but
yeah,
they need to drop a lot of the corporate speak that just doesn't, a lot of the times it just serves to muddy the waters, and a lot of people like can't read it very well because it's intentionally worded in a way to make it kind of vague. So even when they say they're sending an explanation, they send one that is so vague and filled with like platitudes and stuff that people don't really know what to make of it.
It's like I just read 3 paragraphs and I still don't understand what they were about.
Exactly. And if they just like talked like a
normal person,
it wouldn't be as much of an issue. But they don't want to talk to you like a normal person, because then they would just straight up say, yeah, we're not going to let you pick your own thumbnail sometimes. We're just going to like mess around, see what happens, because, well, we have our reasons and it's a marketing thing and we're just going to give it a try.
Yeah.
They don't want to have to tell that to people, so they hide it behind a lot of very polite corporate language.
It's vague.
Yeah, it's always very vague.
And it's annoying because, like, again, there are people whose lives depend on being able to, like, get videos out to their subscribers instead of, like, occasionally only some of your subscribers will actually see these videos.
Yeah. You could just, if you had a video that did really, really badly 1 week, you can almost be guaranteed that the next week just less subscribers are going to see your video, because YouTube have decided that you don't deserve it anymore. But then if you have a video that breaks out really big, like my Vox video 2 weeks ago, then the next week you're just like, man, these views for this other video are way bigger than normal, and it's just because you're in their good graces that week,
It's also like if you're inconsistent, like if you do like a video every day and you miss a day or two, or if you do a video like every week and you miss a week, like then they're also like, oh, well, bye.
Yeah. I think I've missed Christmas week, and I missed this 1 week where there was a hurricane. in Florida where I live, and those are the 2 weeks that I've ever missed since I've started my channel.
Yeah. It's
Um,
like, YouTube, get your
scary.
shit together.
Yeah.
We're all depending on you, you know. You have like big people now, like there are YouTubers who can be considered celebrities, and they're still just like, oh, we're just gonna fuck with everybody
Yeah.
without warning.
Yeah, because it's not like a film company, you know, like a studio where these big YouTubers can just go somewhere else. I guess there's Twitch, but you have to make very different style of content on Twitch. Like I would never want to move to Switch. That just doesn't suit the type of content that I make.
Yeah, which I think Twitch was getting into like the whole YouTube type thing where you can upload pre-recorded videos, but I think I tried that once with a podcast and then just never went back to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Twitch is just not that appealing to me, but also I wish there was like a more like a competitor to YouTube that could kind of keep them honest and give people
and like
somewhere else to go.
and there are like YouTube-esque platforms, but none of them are big enough or will likely ever get big enough to make YouTube want to be like more open.
Yeah, and they all fail, honestly, like unless they're very niche, like Daily Motion.
Yeah.
But like what was that one?
VidMe was a thing
VidMe.
that existed that my friend Jay got me onto.
Yeah, I used to upload there, like right when I started the channel, and then just nobody watched on there, and I kind of just stopped uploading there because I figured who cares? And then like 3 months later, I got an email being like, "Yeah, okay, we're done now," and I was like, oh, "Okay, well, I guess it was a good thing I didn't like put more time into that."
See, I like scheduled like a video every day because I had already had a backlog, so I was like, I'm just gonna upload all my videos to VidMe. And I don't know how they went because then like a week later they shut down.
Oh yeah, yeah, they're just that was just never really going to work. They don't have the kind of money that Google has, and hosting video is so expensive.
It's like, you know, competition is good for market because then companies will want to make themselves more appealing to the people that they, you know, are trying to get on their side. And that's a problem when YouTube has no real competition.
Yeah, that's a problem with the internet in general, I think, is
Yeah.
that a lot of these companies are becoming like monolithic.
Yeah, they all like basically monopolies over their fan bases and their viewer bases, which means they can basically do whatever I want. And even if like the people are like, hey, fuck you for that, they're still going to come back because they're the only ones who provide that type of content as quality content.
Yeah.
Like nobody else really has like the quality of like YouTube's site or the big like creators that YouTube has outside of Twitch. And again, Twitch is largely just live streaming and not really what YouTube is. And you know, Facebook is just terrible.
Oh, Facebook is garbage. I mean, Facebook, and this is going off on kind of a side rant now, but Facebook lost a lot of journalists their job. And because what they did was they presented, like they went to, you know, your Voxes of the world, your MSNBCs, even smaller ones, and they presented this data of like, look how many people are watching on Facebook, on Facebook's video platforms. You have to like switch over to this now. It's the future. And then these companies, you know, they would like move a bunch of writers to make videos and hire a bunch of editors and stuff like that. And then that data was just a straight up lie. And they admit now that it was just a lie. They like lied to a bunch of people. And as a result, a lot of people, you know, a lot of people lost their job.
That's fucked up.
It is really, yeah, it's terrible.
Like, yeah, fuck you, Facebook. But yeah, and I guess IGTV is a thing, but I don't ever see that really becoming like a comparator to what YouTube itself is offering.
Yeah.
Because like I don't ever see like there being like a Nerd Tank style like Instagram account that's like that kind of content with that quality, but just on Instagram. Be interesting to see though. I'd love to see what IGTV has to offer. I've just been too lazy to go check.
Yeah, I don't know really anything about Instagram. Like, I don't have an account over there.
I have an account. I only recently started using it because I started to get back into photography, and I was like, I might as well have a place to upload these so people can see that aren't just my friends. So I was like, Instagram, here I go, and I'll upload like once every few days, just a random photo I took, and
Yeah,
that's about it. Which thankfully, because that my cousin saw, he got me a camera, so that's nice. But I don't know like anything about like Instagram, like who's big or what their algorithm is like or anything. I will say it is annoying that their like home feed is not in chronological order. Kind of
oh
like how Twitter has the in case you missed it tab, but you can always like sort of minimize that tab so you see most things in like chronological order. Instagram doesn't have that. So you'll see like a post from 2 days ago next to a post from a minute ago next to a post from 3 hours ago. And it's stupid and I hate it. It's just Instagram is annoying for its own reasons.
yeah, they all have their issues. I'm in the chat now negotiating when I'm ever going to do a face reveal.
Oh, are you ever gonna do a face reveal?
You know, I like Dark Tales production idea of a million subscribers for a face reveal. You know, that really pushes it down the road. Honestly, it was one of those things where I had there was like a boring backstory to why I like don't really show my face on camera, and it's just because I have a really nice camera, and I was on a short film crew that was like shooting things around town, and my like one really nice lens got stolen, and I was like really down in the dumps about it. I was really like depressed about it. I was like, I hate making these short films that like that take so long with making it with so many other people, and they just like never come out. And so what I did was I was just like, I'm just gonna make something that can be posted this week, and I just made my first video and I put it out. And since I didn't have a camera, I decided to go with the more nerd writer style of voiceovers.
USA. Or you have voiceover.
Yeah. So, and then I decided that I really liked Captain Midnight as a character, kind of being the face of the channel. You know, I thought it was friendly and kind of cool and different. And so that's kind of why I put that in the forefront. And yeah, so I've just never had a reason to reveal my face, but I promise you, it's just a dude's face. It's really not that exciting either way.
It's always weird to me when people are like, what do we have to do for a face reveal? Like, I can see why it'd be like a big thing to like a core fan base, I guess. But also, I'm like, but that's not really going to affect much of the content. Like, if anything, like, it is kind of weird when like you sort of do to like how somebody like their voice, you get like a sort of a mental image in your head of what that person looks like, and
Yeah.
then you see them, and it's like, oh, that's not all what I expected.
Yeah, there's so many podcasts like that. That was another thing. Like, I listen to podcasts more than I do like watch YouTubers, and there's just so many podcasters that I listen to, and I have no idea what they look like. So it never really occurred to me that it would be a thing people would really care about. But man, I get those comments all the time. One of these
Yeah.
days, maybe I'll just like take a selfie and put it on Twitter, and people will be like, "Oh, so that's what that guy looks like. He looks like a guy." Okay, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole what you think somebody looks like is weird and interesting, and also if you're on the receiving end of that, it can be kind of awkward. Like I went to prom for some reason, and my friend's mom apparently listened to a podcast I did, and our first introduction was her going, "You look different than I expected based off of your voice."
Oh,
I was like, I don't know how to respond to this.
yeah. I've had people tell me that, people that watch the channel that I've met in person, and it's like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Mopey says, "Give me some good podcasts," which we actually did at the very beginning of this. We did some podcast recommendations.
Yeah. Just scroll back to like the first little bit.
Yeah, but
I need
yeah,
more podcasts that isn't like um freaking Elseworlds Exchange or Up and Vanished.
Oh yeah, Up and Vanished is good. I definitely like.
So good.
I'll definitely reiterate that you must remember this. The Film History podcast is really good, and screw it, we're just going to talk about Spider-Man. Those are my big two recommendations for today, I guess.
Gotcha. I'm writing those down now. This and all right. Done and done. Saved to my Evernote page. But yeah, I don't know what else we can talk about. So
yeah, I mean, we can wrap this up if you want to. Up to you.
I'm fine with that. I'm probably gonna go back to watching Sabrina.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I watched the first one. I'll probably watch more, but I gotta set up this computer.
Some point soon, I need to go find memory cards for this because I don't actually own any memory cards, and the one that came with this had the back ripped off of it, so I don't think it's gonna work. I don't want to risk getting it stuck in the camera.
Oh,
yeah. So how about you tell the internet where you can be found? As you can tell, my year of taking a speech class really worked.
Yeah, I mean, just put in Captain Midnight on YouTube and you'll find me. So there you go.
Go check it out. Great stuff.
Man, Mopey just said that he's in the middle of Castlevania. I forgot that came out, season 2. Yeah. I need to watch that too. I love season 1. It was just way too short.
Yeah, and obviously you can follow me on Twitter at Brandovader, Instagram, I guess, if you want to see the photos I take. There aren't very many there yet. And obviously subscribe here for more podcasts and hopefully videos.
Do it.
I've been trying to get Brian Brushwood onto a podcast for a while. For since May, because I reached out in May because I did a comic book quiz show, I guess.
Yeah.
For one episode. And that was really fun. And I was like, no, who I want next? Let's get Brian Brushwood from The Modern Rogue. And then it's been months. So we got it set up for last week. And then I was like, actually, I don't have another guest. Could we get your co-host from The Modern Rogue? He was like, well, it's going to take a while. I was like, that's fine. I don't care. It's been 8 months already. I don't care. But yeah, hit subscribe to all the things. Probably gonna put Captain Midnight's stuff in the description if I remember.
There you go. Yeah. And I'm glad I could come on here and tell really meandering stories about the time that I lost a camera lens one time. Well, it got stolen. That's really what happened. But that's a whole other story.
We're your new therapy group.
Yeah, seriously.
Join in next week for more adventures with Captain Midnight.
In therapy.
Peace.